Do you recall the glee with which you would draw a circle using the good old compass as a child? Now imagine if I were to ask you to do the same thing, except this time place the sharp tip of that compass anywhere on the coastline of Kerala and draw an imaginary white circle on the world map that extends all the way up to Portugal on one end and the Far East on the other. This, my friends, used to be the trading zone of Kerala in the ancient times, dating back to as far as 5,000 years ago. Like the time that Delhi used to be a seat of high power all throughout history, Kerala all along has been a seat of high global trade. At different points of time, Kerala has traded with Phoenicians, Sumerians, Babylonians, Romanians, Egyptians, Arabs, and later on with Portuguese, the Dutch, the French, and of course the British. Needless to say, due to such huge intermingling and influx of immigrants, primarily Christians and Arab Muslims, the Kerala society grew to be a multicultural one, a slow gradual process over hundreds of years. Now the term multicultural or multiculturalism, utopian as these sound, exist only in the books. On ground, the reality is quite different. There is nothing called a multicultural society or a multicultural region. Typically, a region would always have a single dominant culture. In ideal conditions, the homegrown indigenous culture, offsetted by cultures which have come in from foreign locations. This is an ideal situation. But what happens when over the passage of time, the dominant homegrown culture begins to get culled over by the predatory nature of the foreign cultures, to the extent that the followers of the dominant culture fall below the 50% mark. Now, which is what has happened to Kerala. As per the census 2011, Hindus at that time, 9 years ago, were accounting for 55%, Muslims as 25%, and Christians at 18%. This figure, I believe, 9 years later, is something to the effect that Hindus are now below the mark of 50%. So my question to all of you, food for thought, that is this a time to implement a constitutional statutory law that applies to any region across India and says that when the homegrown dominant culture has come under threat to the extent that the followers of it have fallen below the mark of 50%, that a law of no more religious conversion, formerly called proselytizing, a law to this effect should be put in place. Now, that is my question. Thank you.